Please welcome Natalie Russell.
What's the recipe for an overweight, unhappy child? Researchers say in excess of 2 hours of screen time per day. But what exactly is screen time? Well, anything really from iPads, smartphones, smartwatches, computers, laptops, video games, even the TV. The average 8 to 12-year-old spends 4.5 hours on screens per day and has access to over 5 different screens within their home or school environment. As a teacher for 26 years, I have noticed some differences amongst the children. I do appreciate the value of technology. It's fantastic for learning. But I asked the children in my class, how many of you have a mobile phone? These are 8-year-olds. And they said 16 out of 23 of them did. Then I asked them how many of them are on social media. And 9 out of 23 of them were, even though they're not of that age yet. And they actually agreed with me that their sleep is interfered with once they've been on a screen before bed. I've noticed as well that certain changes in their imagination when they're writing stories and poems, they find it much more difficult now. They can multitask, but they can't focus on one specific task at a time. Also, they agree that their concentration levels are shorter, their span is shorter. So what exactly is the impact for our children on too much screen time per day? Chinese researchers have said that they call it digital heroin. This is because it changes the brain chemistry, and once this is changed, it's irreversible. Excessive use increases the use of dopamine, and this can lead to addiction and addictive behaviours. Rachel Sharman, a lecturer in psychology, said that young children in particular don't go outside so much anymore. And because of that, they're losing their competence, their autonomy, because they're not interacting with their environment. They're not riding a bike, they're not climbing trees, they're not solving puzzles and problem solving. And as a result, this leads to cognitive delay. And Dr. Eric Sigman, who's done a lot of research in this area, said that it's actually now a medical problem as opposed to just a cultural one. And that means that there's issues like obesity, language development problems, cognitive delay, sleep interference, even anxiety and depression are linked to too much social media. So it is a real problem. So what can we do for our children then to ensure that they're aware of these risks? One thing we can do is actually talk to them and engage with them with their online lifestyle. So actually speak to them about the risks and tell them that it's important to take breaks. If it's a young child, tell them that they have a specific amount of time and let them know when you're going to take the screen-based activity from them so they're prepared for it. And when you're having a meal with family, try not to have screens on in the background, because we ourselves, it's termed technoference when parents are actually involved with their phone instead of engaging with their children. I see it all the time in school when parents collect their children. They don't even say hello, some of them, they're on their phone. What else can we do? Well, One thing that I'm guilty of is using it as a reward or a punishment. And if we do that, what we're doing is we're increasing the value of that screen for that child. So it's important not to give it in that way. And on a final note then, I was thinking about this and I read that Steve Jobs and Bill Gates didn't allow their children to go on mobile phones or use screens until over the age of 14. And that got me thinking, what is it that they know about the risks and the links with addiction that we don't? Thank you.